They say aging gracefully means accepting the changes, but what if one of those changes quietly steals your nights away? You close your eyes hoping sleep will come, but instead you lie still for hours staring into the dark. Some nights your heart races, other nights your mind spins over things that shouldn't matter anymore. And on the worst nights you wake up at 2 a.m. wide awake for no reason and no remedy in sight. Many seniors believe this is just how aging works, but here's the quiet truth. That belief might be the very thing keeping your body from finding rest. Because while pills can force the body to shut down, they don't teach it how to sleep again. And while sleep tips may promise peace, most never address the real disconnect. Your nervous system has forgotten what safety feels like. The good news, you can remind it. Deep inside your hands are 3 small points that speak the language of calm, balance, and rhythm, if only you know how to tap them. Not press hard, not stretch far, just a gentle, precise touch. And for many older adults, that alone can change the night. But if something this simple could work, then why haven't we been shown before? Why sleep becomes fragile after 55? Have you ever wondered why sleep used to come so naturally, like a wave that simply swept you into rest? But now, after 55, it feels like your body has forgotten how. Most people think it's just about age, that being older means waking often, tossing more, and rarely reaching deep sleep. But that's not the whole truth. The real shift doesn't start in your years, it starts in your nervous system. And it's more emotional than most people dare to admit. Picture this, you're in bed at 10 p.m. tired but alert. The house is quiet, yet something inside you refuses to settle. You adjust your pillow, you count your breath. You replay conversations from days ago. You close your eyes, but your body won't follow. What changed? Sleep after 55 becomes fragile not simply because we age, but because our body stops receiving the signals it used to trust. The production of melatonin slows. The balance of cortisol and serotonin thins. But deeper than the chemical shifts is the erosion of what scientists call the parasympathetic tone, your body's natural ability to slow down, drop tension, and feel safe. When this system weakens, even if you're exhausted, your body resists sleep. It stays alert to noises, movements, memories, not because it wants to, but because it no longer remembers what true safety feels like. And with age often comes deeper emotional layering, grief, regrets, worry about health or family, that lingers in the body long after the thoughts have passed. The nights grow longer not just because hormones decline, but because the nervous system, without guidance, no longer knows how to descend. That's why pills help you shut down but never guide you down. They sedate but they don't soothe, and that's why natural methods like pressing key acupoints can succeed where medicine stalls. Because they speak in the language your nervous system understands: touch, rhythm, safety. And when sleep is fragile, sometimes what it needs isn't more force, but more remembering. So before you reach for another pill or blame your age, ask yourself this: has your body truly lost the ability to rest, or has it just been waiting for the right signal? Section 1, the 3 points, press here to restore sleep. 1. The heart of the palm, calming the mind. What if the racing thoughts that keep you awake at night aren't coming from your head, but from your hands? It sounds strange, even a bit far-fetched. After all, most of us have been taught to look for sleep in the mind. Calm your thoughts, clear your brain, silence the noise. But the truth is more layered. Because sometimes the body remembers what the mind forgets. And in that quiet space between your wrist and your fingers, right in the center of your palm, lies one of the most powerful access points to your nervous system. It's called the Lao Gong point, an ancient term that translates to palace of labor, but don't be misled by the name. This isn't about hard work, it's about deep restoration. Think back to a recent night where you felt mentally exhausted yet couldn't sleep. You closed your eyes but thoughts kept surfacing. An unfinished conversation, a sudden memory, a flicker of anxiety that grew louder in the silence. You turned from side to side, your pillow growing warmer with each shift. And even though your body longed for sleep, your mind refused to surrender. That disconnection between physical fatigue and mental unrest is one of the hallmarks of modern insomnia, especially after 55. But here's what most people don't realize. Your hands are not just tools for action. They're deeply sensitive landscapes, rich with over 17,000 nerve endings, many of which are directly connected to emotional regulation centers in the brain. When gently stimulated in the right way, specific points like Lao Gong can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for slowing your heart rate, calming your breath, and telling your body that it's safe to let go. Unlike medication, which forces the brain into sleep regardless of its emotional state, acupressure works by shifting the body's internal signals. It doesn't push, it invites. The Lao Gong point in particular is thought of as a release valve for emotional heat. In traditional Eastern medicine, it's used to clear heart fire, a poetic way of saying that it helps cool down the overstimulated emotions that collect during the day and surface at night. From a modern physiological view, pressing this point sends a cascade of signals through the vagus nerve, a major player in emotional balance and stress response. Many who try it describe a curious warmth spreading from the palm up through the arm, even reaching the chest. It's subtle but unmistakable, and more importantly, it's a sign that your body is shifting gears from alert to receptive, from tension to rest. You don't need to apply intense pressure. You don't need special tools. Just use your thumb from the opposite hand to gently press into the hollow at the center of your palm. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, rotate in slow circles for 1 to 2 minutes, and do the same for the other hand. What you're doing isn't just mechanical, it's a conversation, a message to your nervous system that the day is over, that you're not in danger, that it's okay to descend. Over time, the practice becomes more than routine, it becomes a returning. A quiet way to reintroduce your body to the sleep it used to know before pills and clocks and thoughts complicated everything. And once the mind has been calmed through the hand, the question naturally follows. What about the emotions that wake you in the middle of the night? Those sudden, unexplained stirrings at 2 a.m. To understand those, we need to move just a little further down the hand, to a softer, lesser-known place that holds the key to emotional equilibrium when the darkness feels too loud. 2. Beneath the pinky, quieting nighttime emotions. Have you ever noticed how the most restless awakenings don't happen at midnight or dawn, but right around 2 or 3 a.m. when the world is silent and your thoughts are suddenly loud? There's no loud noise, no bad dream, just a strange sense of unease, a heaviness behind your chest, or a feeling like something isn't quite right. You sit up, you breathe, but sleep has vanished. And the most frustrating part is that even if your body feels tired, your emotions are now fully awake. This isn't rare. In fact, it's one of the most common patterns of insomnia in older adults. And while we're often told it's a normal part of aging, what's less known is that these early morning wake-ups are frequently tied to emotional rhythms, not just physical ones. Deep in your palm, just below the pinky finger, there's a soft pad nestled between the pinky and ring finger joints. It seems ordinary, but in Eastern healing traditions, this point, known as Shao Fu, is directly linked to the heart meridian, which governs both the physical and emotional heart. It's a place where unspoken feelings, especially those held back during the day, tend to surface. Unlike the logical, structured mind, the emotional body doesn't operate on a strict timeline. It stores, waits, and then speaks, often during the quiet hours of the night when we're most vulnerable. When you gently apply pressure to the Shao Fu point, you're not forcing your emotions to go away. You're giving them a place to be heard, calmly, safely, without spilling into your sleep. From a scientific perspective, this area of the hand is densely populated with sensory nerve receptors, which connect directly to parts of the brain that manage emotional responses, including the amygdala and hypothalamus. When you stimulate this point gently, without rubbing, without pressing hard, It sends a message through the nervous system that it's safe to release the emotional grip. The breath begins to deepen, the heart slows, the anxiety softens. For many seniors, especially those who live alone or are navigating quiet but intense changes, retirement, grief, family, distance, this simple touch can feel like a hand reaching inward, comforting something wordless. The practice is surprisingly simple. Just place your thumb gently on the pad below the pinky and ring finger, hold it with mild, steady pressure for about 30 to 60 seconds and breathe slowly. No need to rotate, no need to move. Let the stillness be the medicine, then switch hands. And over time, as you do this regularly, especially before bed, you may notice the emotional storms begin to subside. Those unexplained awakenings may become less frequent or feel less disturbing when they do arise. You're not pushing away emotions, you're digesting them quietly, gently. Because the truth is, most sleeplessness after 55 isn't about being awake, it's about feeling unresolved. And when emotions are left without a place to land, they rise in the hours when everything else is still. So instead of treating those moments as interruptions, treat them as invitations. And before moving on to the final point, the one that reconnects your biological rhythm from the inside out, pause and ask yourself, how many of your sleepless nights were actually your emotions, simply asking to be heard? 3. The base of the palm, reconnecting to natural rhythm. Why is it that some nights you feel completely calm, free of worry, and still, sleep just doesn't come? You've turned off the lights, you've avoided caffeine, you've even done breathing exercises, and yet your eyes remain open long after midnight. The mind is quiet, but the body refuses to follow. That's when you begin to wonder, is something deeper misaligned, something beyond thoughts and emotions? For many people over 55, the true barrier to restful sleep isn't stress or anxiety, but the subtle disruption of a rhythm they no longer feel connected to. At the base of your palm, just below the center line of your middle finger, lies a little-known reflex point often associated with the pineal gland, the brain's biological metronome. This tiny structure, located deep within your brain, governs your circadian rhythm by producing melatonin, the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy as night falls. But here's the surprising part. As we age, the pineal gland often becomes sluggish. Exposure to screens, irregular routines, emotional fatigue, and even long-term sleep medication can confuse or mute its signals. The result is a body that doesn't know when to sleep, even if everything else seems in place. This isn't about feeling tired, it's about being out of sync, and this is where gentle stimulation of the pineal reflex zone becomes powerful. While not classified as a formal acupuncture point, this area is used in reflexology and energy medicine as a way to knock softly on the body's internal clock. The act of tapping, not pressing, this zone creates a mild rhythmic signal like a pulse that travels through your nervous system and reminds the pineal gland of its role. The technique is beautifully simple. Using the tip of your index finger, lightly tap the center base of your palm in a calm, wave-like motion about 60 times. The goal isn't force, it's frequency. Imagine each tap as a gentle bell ring echoing inward, asking your body, "Are you ready to rest?" After a short pause, repeat. Most people describe a soft sensation of stillness spreading, no sharp jolts, just a hum of quiet alignment. This method works especially well when done in a dark, quiet space, ideally 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. It doesn't force melatonin production instantly, but it supports the internal timing that allows it to flow naturally. And this distinction matters, because unlike synthetic sleep aids which override your system, this approach restores the dialogue between body and brain. You're not hijacking your biology, you're reintroducing it to its original rhythm. For older adults, especially those with irregular schedules, post-retirement routines, or a history of poor sleep hygiene, This small practice can help the body relearn what evening is supposed to feel like. Not just the end of a day, but the return to stillness. Over time, consistent practice brings gentle transformation. The body begins to anticipate sleep, not resist it. You may find yourself yawning at the right hour again, falling asleep without counting, waking up more refreshed, not because of a miracle, but because your rhythm remembered its pattern. And perhaps what's most beautiful is this: what seems like a fragile point at the base of your palm is actually a bridge between body and rhythm, between awareness and surrender. But this point works best not alone, but alongside a few small habits that make the entire process deeper, faster, and more lasting. Let's explore those next. Section 2: 5 subtle rituals that enhance effectiveness. You may think the 3 points are the solution, and they are powerful, but here's something almost no one talks about. How you prepare your body before you press those points determines whether your system will truly listen. Because tapping into your nervous system isn't about effort, it's about readiness. And as we age, the body needs softer signals, more deliberate invitations, not louder commands. It's easy to imagine acupressure as a technique: press here, breathe there. But in truth, it's part of a larger conversation your body is having with itself. And for that conversation to be coherent, the environment, emotions, and physical state around it must be in harmony. Think about it. You wouldn't try to fall asleep in a loud room. Yet many people apply pressure to these sleep points while emotionally restless, physically cold, or energetically blocked, expecting instant results. The points are effective, yes, but like seeds, they bloom best in fertile ground. And that's where these 5 rituals come in. Each one is subtle, gentle, sometimes even overlooked. But together they form the perfect energetic prelude that tells your body it's time to let go. Let's begin with something beautifully simple: warm water. Not hot, not cold, just warm enough to relax. Soaking your hands in warm water for 3 to 5 minutes before touching any pressure point might seem unnecessary, but physiologically, it makes all the difference. Warmth dilates peripheral blood vessels, improving circulation and heightening nerve receptivity. This means the signals you send from your palm to your brain travel faster, deeper, and more clearly. But beyond the biology, there's emotional grounding in warmth. It mimics the safety of being held. It tells the body you are safe. You are cared for. For seniors, many of whom experience cold hands due to circulation issues or even feelings of isolation, this ritual is not just therapeutic, it's affirming. It transforms your hands from functional tools into receivers of care. And in that softening, the nervous system becomes more willing to listen. The second ritual feels like child's play, yet it's rooted in deep energetic release. Tapping your fingertips gently on a wooden surface before beginning, a simple desk, the edge of a wooden bed frame. Purpose isn't to make noise, it's to release static. According to Japanese energy therapy traditions like Jin Shin Jutsu, emotional tension accumulates at the extremities, particularly the fingertips. By gently tapping, you help discharge that buildup before you stimulate the deeper nervous system zones in the palm. Imagine it like draining water from a hose before turning on a new flow. Without this release, the acupressure can sometimes feel muted or emotionally stuck. From a neuroscience perspective, this also activates the skin's touch receptors, priming the sensory nerves for deeper input. The act only takes 30 seconds per hand, yet it can dramatically improve how responsive your body is to what comes next. Now let's talk about scent. Not overpowering perfume or heavy oils, but the light, citrusy presence of orange or lemon essential oils in a gentle hand cream. Many seniors don't realize how much their olfactory system, sense of smell, impacts their nervous state. The brain's limbic system, which governs both emotion and memory, is directly influenced by smell. Applying a light citrus-scented hand cream before beginning acupressure not only conditions the skin, but also sends a subtle cue to the prefrontal cortex. It's time to shift modes. Over time, this creates an association. This smell means rest is coming. It becomes a subconscious trigger, but it's critical to choose a natural, mild formula. Harsh, artificial fragrances can stimulate instead of soothe. This isn't about fragrance, it's about subtle environmental language. Just like a lullaby prepares a child for sleep, this scent becomes part of your body's vocabulary of peace. The fourth ritual may surprise you because it starts not at the hand but in the stomach. A small snack, chosen with care, can prepare your body's chemistry to transition into sleep mode. The combination of a few slices of ripe banana and 3 to 5 walnuts is ideal. Bananas contain tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin, and potassium, which helps relax muscles. Walnuts contain natural melatonin and healthy fats that nourish the brain and stabilize mood. This isn't about eating to feel full. It's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to enter rest without relying on drugs. And here's the part that matters. You're not doing this while distracted. You're doing it with intention, slowly, with presence. The act of nourishing yourself gently before touching the acupressure points enhances your body's receptivity, not just physically but symbolically. It says, "I trust you, I'm taking care of you." And for many seniors who have felt forgotten by time, by others, even by themselves, this message alone begins the healing. Finally, there's a ritual so often overlooked it almost feels too simple. Wear a pair of thin cotton gloves after you finish your acupressure. Yes, gloves, soft, breathable, barely noticeable, but their effect is profound. After stimulating your nervous system through the palms, those pathways remain open and receptive for some time. Keeping your hands warm preserves the parasympathetic signal, sustaining that calm state longer. It's like keeping the door open a little longer after knocking. But more than that, the physical sensation of warmth around the hands creates a subtle emotional enclosure. It says, "You're held." And the subconscious body, still listening, believes it. For many older adults who struggle with sleep not because of racing thoughts, but because of a subtle sense of exposure, this gentle act becomes a cocoon, a nest. Not just physical warmth, but emotional containment. Each of these rituals may seem small, almost too soft to matter, but in the world of sleep, and especially for the mature nervous system, power lies in gentleness. You're not trying to control your body, you're trying to guide it, and that requires more than technique. It requires atmosphere, rhythm, reverence, because sleep isn't a task, it's a return. And these 5 rituals create the path back, not by force but by familiarity. They're not accessories to the practice, they are the context that gives the practice meaning. So the next time you prepare to tap the 3 points on your hand, ask yourself, have I truly prepared the space for rest to arrive? Or am I rushing a sacred process without laying down the welcome mat? Because sometimes the thing we seek most isn't far, it's just waiting to be invited in, softly, gently, completely. Section 3. Common mistakes and safe adjustments. Most people think that because something is natural, it's always safe, and the more you do it, the better the results. But when it comes to acupressure for sleep, especially in people over 55, that logic can quietly backfire. Gentle healing techniques, though non-invasive and drug-free, still interact directly with your nervous system. And just like with medicine, using them at the wrong time, in the wrong way, or with the wrong intention can subtly work against you. One of the most common mistakes is pressing too hard. Many seniors, eager for fast results, believe that deeper pressure equals deeper healing. But the nervous system, especially in later life, responds not to force, but to trust. When you press too hard on sensitive acupoints, especially in the center of the palm or near nerve-dense areas, you risk overstimulating your body's internal responses. Instead of relaxing, your system may trigger alertness, tension, or even mild discomfort that lingers without explanation. You think the method doesn't work when in truth your body was overwhelmed. The right approach isn't intensity, it's consistency. A steady, soft signal, repeated night after night, is far more powerful than a single forceful session. Another subtle misstep is practicing when you're emotionally agitated. You come home late, you've had an argument, your thoughts are racing, and you think, maybe tapping my hand will help. But here's what most people don't realize: acupressure enhances what's already present. If your breath is shallow, if your energy is scattered, if you're anxious, the practice won't override that. It will amplify it. That's why preparing the mind and environment before pressing the points is essential. A dim room, a few deep breaths, a slower internal rhythm. These aren't optional, they're the fertile soil in which your touch takes root. If you skip this part, you may still feel a response, but it's inconsistent, erratic. Your nervous system may interpret the stimulation as noise, not guidance. And in older adults, where parasympathetic balance is already delicate, this inconsistency can lead to frustration or emotional confusion, especially if results vary each night. Physical conditions also play a crucial role. Many people overlook the fact that aging brings changes not just in sleep, but in the body's physical structure. Arthritis, carpal tunnel, peripheral neuropathy, or old injuries can all affect how signals travel through the hand. If you have inflammation or numbness in the fingers or wrist joints, pressing the points too firmly can create discomfort or even block the signal entirely. For these cases, the adjustment isn't to stop the practice, but to modify it. Instead of pressing, try gentle stroking, warming the area, or tapping lightly. Focus on the breath, focus on intention. Healing isn't about doing more, it's about doing what your body can receive. If your hand is inflamed, it's not weak, it's asking for a different kind of attention. There's also a common misunderstanding around sleep medications. Many seniors begin acupressure hoping it will allow them to quit pills immediately. But this sudden withdrawal, especially if you've been medicated for years, can shock your system. Acupressure works with your nervous rhythm, but that rhythm takes time to restore. If you're currently taking sleep aids, don't stop them overnight. Begin your acupressure practice alongside your current routine. Observe how your body responds over 1 to 2 weeks. Then, if improvement appears, fewer wake-ups, faster sleep onset, consult your doctor about slowly tapering the medication. This isn't a race, it's a reintroduction. Your body must learn how to trust itself again. And finally, one of the most overlooked mistakes: impatience. Many people try these techniques once, maybe twice, and say it didn't work. But healing isn't about instant relief, it's about relationship. Think of acupressure not as a switch, but as a soft conversation with your nervous system. The first time you press a point, your body may not fully understand. But the second time, it begins to recognize the message. By the third, it may already begin responding with small shifts, lighter thoughts, earlier yawns, calmer awakenings. It's not about miracle moments, it's about cumulative trust. Each night, you are building a signal pathway. Each breath you take during the practice becomes a memory your body begins to store, not just intellectually, but neurologically. So if you've made some of these mistakes, there's no need for guilt, only awareness. The beauty of natural techniques is that they're forgiving. You can adjust, you can begin again. And with each small correction, your body learns how to rest again, gently and wisely. Because healing at this stage of life doesn't need to be dramatic, it just needs to be honest. And the most honest question you can ask yourself now is this: am I giving my body the chance to respond, or am I rushing it before it's ready? Finally, not every silence at night is peace. Sometimes it's the body waiting for a signal it once knew by heart. We often think of sleep as something to chase, to fix, or to earn through effort. But what if sleep, in its purest form, is not a task, but a return? A return to rhythm, to safety, to the quiet intelligence of a body that still remembers how to rest. If only we learn to speak to it again. These 3 points are not magic, they're memory. And each time you touch them with care, you're not just activating a nerve, you're rekindling a dialogue your nervous system was longing to resume. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, take a moment, look at your hands, feel the air in your room, ask yourself gently, when did you last give your body permission to rest without force, without worry, without noise? And more importantly, what might begin to change if you did?